It was 1915. Woodrow Wilson was in the midst of his term as the President of the United States. Suffragists were marching in the streets of New York, demanding from their government the right for women to vote. A gallon of gasoline cost 8 cents. This was America when Jack Boles was born to humble beginnings in rural Mason, Tennessee. Jack's mother, Georgia Burchett Boles, was a homemaker. His father, Wilford Boles, made his living as a horse jockey, a dangerous profession that he most likely began as a teenager. Jack had one sister, Ludella, 2 years his senior, and the following year would mark the birth of his younger sister, Alice. Jack was fated to be the mischievous middle child. The Boles family lived in an area where most black folks were still living their lives on the plantations owned by the descendants of white slave owners. The majority of the meager wealth that subsisted black people came from the farming of these lands. The patriarch of the Boles family, on the other hand, most likely made his money strictly on commission as a horse jockey, with substantial money only to be made when his horse won. Despite the rewards, horse racing has always been considered one of the most dangerous jobs there is, particularly during the halcyon days of Wilford's career when no one in America had heard of job safety regulations. In 1921, Wilford was involved in a tragic accident during a race. As he was coming around a bend in the track, his buggy suddenly overturned and his neck was broken. He died instantly. Wilford was 27 years old. The task of parenting 3 young children in rural Tennessee was left for his mother to shoulder entirely on her own for a time with limited resources until she remarried Philip Fields. Jack, who was 6 years old when his father died, was fortunate to still grow up with a fatherly figure in his life. Nevertheless, the years went by and the family pressed on, never having left the small town of Mason. Jack and his sisters grew. Once he reached his 20s, Jack had become quite the handsome young man. Much to his mother's chagrin, Jack enjoyed frequenting a popular illegal gambling establishment, owned and operated by a young man named Albert Gooden. On July 18, 1937, Jack was enjoying a night with friends at the Speakeasy when it was abruptly raided by Tipton County Police. During the raid, a melee ensued when a police officer assaulted a young woman who was also a patron of the bar. Shots were fired. In the confusion, both Jack and Deputy Sheriff Chester Doyle were shot and killed. Jack was 22 years old. The murder of the sheriff also resulted in a racially charged backlash by white citizens of Tipton County, leading to the grisly murder of Mr. Gooden, the young owner of the bar, who was found weeks later in a drainage ditch. His body had been mutilated, riddled with bullets, and a noose was fastened about his neck. He was 25 years old. Tragedy at the Bottom, the Jack Boles story.